Thought I'd give you a look at the top side first. Custom transformers, even marked with the Friedman name, PT20. Pink Taco, that's from the Pink Taco. That's cool. And then the Friedman OT20. What would the OT be? I don't know. But they are custom transformers, nice and big, which is nice. They're heavy. Two EL84s, a 12AX7 here, which is probably for the loop back there. And these are probably our preamp tubes for the tone stack. And we've got a 12AX7 here. And this is an Electro-Harmonix 7025, which I believe is slightly less gain than a 12AX7. I'd be real interested to see what a 12AY would sound like here. I think this amp would sound good with a little less gain in the preamp because there's plenty of gain on tap, and I think reducing the gain here might open it up even a little more. Take some of the tightness away. But that's the top side. Now we'll flip it over and get to the bottom. Here with the Friedman Little Sister, really nice 20-watt amplifier. We're going to take a look around inside, see what it's all about, and tell you a little bit about it while we do. Input section here, we got the rectification with the 4 diodes. We've got a bridge rectifier right there. Smaller caps. I thought I'd see some larger caps, but they're adequate, obviously. Only one fuse so far. Inside your igniter you have up to 7. Inside your Marshalls you have up to 4 usually, but just one in this one, which is, I find that kind of comforting. Instead of opening something up and having 7 fuses, it's like, oh my gosh, you're worried about protecting a lot. Anyway, big sandstone resistors, large value sandstones in place. Very nice. Those are expensive, so that's a nice touch. Notice the other resistors throughout the circuit board are at least half watt, 1 watt back there. So all really large value components. They didn't skimp on components, which is also just a really nice feeling. You feel like you're really buying something worthwhile. Architecture is nice. Big bus ground jumper. This is a solid wire that's run through all the connections and then just soldered through all these little tabs on these output jacks. These are all your speaker jacks. That's a nice touch. So you're for sure just getting a lot of conductivity on that common ground right there, which is nice. Same thing over here. All your common connections are super well put together. Back here we have our effects loop. The effects loop on this thing is one of the best. Igniter loops are really good. They do have to be modded sometimes, but once the resistor values are correct, they are great. This is all Friedman's effects loop. It's a zero loss effects loop. Sounds great. Very clean. Very nice. Again, also, all these jacks, should they fail, they're not attached directly to the board. So it's very easy to just replace one of those, as well as the pots up here. They're not attached directly to the board, so if one gets noisy or needs to be replaced, it's very easy to just desolder it, take it out, replace it, put a new one in. Also, these are large metal pots that are really easy to wash out. The plastic ones that you see in a lot of amplifiers are not so easy to wash out because they don't have this opening in the casing that you see here. Not a lot to say. I mean, it's very simple inside. This is something that could be fixed. You shouldn't have too much of a problem identifying components that have failed and replacing them. I mean, even getting the circuit board out is going to be the screws around the edge, and you could take the whole circuit board out without too much trouble as well. Nice. The tube sockets are mounted, and here are output tubes, and they are mounted to the chassis. Input tubes over here, and the sockets are mounted to the chassis instead of the circuit board. So when you replace tubes, you're not flexing or putting pressure on your circuit board. It's all on the chassis. This is our gain stage switch, and it's more than just more gain. It kind of changes the dynamics of the gain of the channel. I'm going to call it a channel, even though it's not a first, second, third channel. But you have normal, and then you have more gain and more than more gain. And it also changes the tonal dynamics of the amp as well. It's just not more gain. So I look at it as you've got 3 channels to choose from. Not that you'd switch back and forth, but you find one that has the sound you like, the tone you like, and then play with that one. Because you can get, on the low gain channel, you can get a lot of gain. More gain than you're probably going to need. It does go up on the other stages, but so the dynamics change as well. So I would suggest you pick one that you like and then just leave it there. This thing cleans up with the guitar volume better than any amp I've ever played with. You can go from beautiful clean to crunch to in-your-face dirt with just your guitar volume, which is a nice feature. Sounds great. It's kind of, I told a buddy recently, it's the best orange amp I've ever played because it has that tight orange character. It is Marshall-esque. It's not like an Engel or a PV. It's not that modern style tone. It's got a Marshall-esque tone, but it's tighter than a Marshall, like your Brent Hines would be, the orange amps. Really tight, low distortion, low gains, and yet the sound is still nice and tight, which is to my liking for sure. So you can get away with playing a lot of different things. Here's a nice little cap right here. I think this is part of the noise reduction. It's on the input jack. Sometimes I used to define noises. I would ground one side of a small cap like this and then take the other lead and just start checking places through an amp. And every once in a while you would find where the hiss is. Psst, and when you touched it with a grounded capacitor like that, it would just go away and you'd still have the amp functioning, but you had sent that noise to ground. So I'm pretty sure this is probably just helping with making sure our guitar is grounded well, and any kind of noise that comes from the guitar perhaps is being shunted to ground here. So that's a nice touch as well. But very nicely put together and made, I believe, made in America. Made right here in Los Angeles. So really kind of pricey, but really recommend it. If you're getting to where you're not going to be buying a few more things, this might be a really nice long-term lifetime amp to get. This is the head version. I think I'm going to get the combo instead, just because, like with the other Friedman, the Jerry Cantrell BE that I had, it was overly tight. I didn't care for that one. This one is tight, but it's a little looser. I like the tone of this one. But the Jerry Cantrell amp sounded better with an open back cab to me. It helped open it up so that it wasn't quite so tight and focused. And I think the same thing will be true with this. Maybe sell the DSL-20 combo and get the Little Sister combo, because it is a really, really nice amp. Does it do anything that the Marshall doesn't do? Not really, but it's different. It's a little tighter. It's just nicer overall. The loop is better. The control with your volume knob is better. The overall quietness of the amp is better. But does it do anything different? No. You can really get pretty much the same tones from each. In fact, the Marshall probably has a better high gain tone than this. But for the lower gain stuff, this is a really, really nice amp to have. All right, Old Guy Jammin' is out. Take care.